Hollow Justice, and we are very close to the end. Let's go ahead and load our save state. Load thing. Let's see, which one was it? I think this one. Alright. I did in fact look up what I'm missing, and it turns out we do have what it takes to unlock his Psycholocks. So let's go ahead and do that. And I have the guide up, so if I get stuck again, we're just gonna look at the guide because I really want to get this over with. Pow 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 pow. The trick up his sleeve. Flying with the seat of my pants. Our mentor was fond of dramatic moves and blah 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 blah. What has Twitch done to you? Everything is so white. What? I don't know why it's white. Alright, we'll show him the gun. Your add-on is gone. No. I still have mine. I guess. I don't know what happened. Somebody did get injured. The locket. A life was sacrificed, the show might go on. And this is who it was! Take that! But that's... Thalassa. Alakazam! But how can you save this? She was the greatest risk at being shot, and this clearly shows just how much danger she was in. I don't know how this one sentence was to hint to use the stamp, but the stamp was the correct answer. Troop Gramarye's performances were very, very popular. So popular, they even made a commemorative stamp at the height of your fame. We're not merely the latest craze. We were not merely the latest craze, we were an age. A golden age. You get to change your name's color now, though. Cool. Maybe not. It did change on my screen. It went from, like, lime green to... like a doo-doo green. It's all here on this stamp. There's Thalassa, yes? Urk! Trucy's mother is missing, I hear. What happened to her? I don't know! A part of his memory is still locked up. There's one thing you're failing to address. What's that? As you say, our trip was a world unto itself. If our leader Magnify was so inclined, he could hide anything he wished with ease. But Mr. Wright. Then he would have hid a crime, making him an accomplice. Not a great foundation for blackmail. How do you revert it back? I don't know. I've never needed to change mine back from red. Or purple on my other one. I think you click on the little cog at the bottom and edit appearance under name display. I mean, that's what it looks like for me. It's not a great foundation for blackmail. Valent's got a point. If one of the troop members died in an accident and Magnify covered it up, his innocence would come into question. Found the right address, Mr. Wright? I'm so close. There has to be something about how Thalassa's death could affect Zack and Valent's relationship with Magnify. I see in your eyes You still have something to say. How can you possibly prove more than you already have? I'll prove why Thalassa's accident tied your hand so completely with a person. It's going to take a little knowledge of the players to crack this one. The accidental death of Zack's wife tied both of your hands, and this information proves why Magnify held so much power over you. And I think we choose Thalassa for some reason. Trucy's mother and daughter of Magnify. Oh good, you got the you got the add-on again. It's not hard to reinstall it. Hey Ranpuma, how are you doing? And how are you doing, Shad? I don't know if I said that. Take that! It wasn't a question of who shot Thalassa. Thalassa herself was the problem. What do you mean? She was Zack Gramarye's wife, Trucy's mother, and Magnify Gramarye's only daughter. There was a terrible accident, and the two of you killed your mentor's only daughter. If that wasn't the key to Magnify's power over you, I don't know what was. It was an accident! Didn't lose it, it wouldn't work with the new Twitch? Oh. Yeah, I've kind of avoided using Twitch beta, I think. Alright, blackmail. There's no proof. None at all. But Thalassa went missing, and your mentor blackmailed both of his disciples. It doesn't take a genius to put one and one together. Ours was a complex family. You mean Trute Gramarye? The master, Magnify Gramarye, his only daughter, and his two disciples. That does sound like a recipe for disaster, doesn't it? Do not be tempted into faulty flights of fancy. Yes, there was an accident, but that was all it was, an accident. Zack and Valent's tour de force. The guns blaze, the bullets fly straight towards that beautiful body on stage. And then crash, zing, pow, into everything but her. Now that is magic. It happened one day when we were practicing. Same trick with a new twist. And tragedy. But as for whose bullet stole Thalassa's life, we shall never know the answer. Thalassa disappeared from our lives, and Zack was bereft of his wife. I'm doing pretty good. I had a pretty good day today. Trucy lost her mother, and Magnify his daughter. I hope it's finishing day for Apollo. I'm ready for this to be over. And thank you for the host. I really appreciate it. And how are you doing, Evan? Let's see. And that led to blackmail, I take it. It is all part and parcel of the darkness that comes when the curtain falls. The darkness. Why did Magnify Gramarye try to cover up the accident? It was his own daughter who died. All I can say is, it was a critical time for Trute Gramarye. A passing of the torch from Magnify to Zack and Valent. We all sacrificed so that it might be a success. Thalassa's death was the greatest sacrifice of all, yet, even when her life was extinguished, her presence was not. What do you mean? In time, we, myself and Zack, found we could no longer oppose Magnify's wishes. Magnify forced us to perform his art for his benefit. I see. I guess I can understand. I mean, he did lose his only daughter. But do you not find cowardice in his actions? Huh? To decide to hide the truth of your own daughter's death is one thing, but then to hang that death as a guillotine above our heads? Things were dark behind the scenes in Troop Gramarye, that's for sure. Does Trucy know? She was not told, naturally. Who would want to know that their father might have taken their mother's life? True. I had not thought of that accident for a very long time. I'm sorry to dredge up old memories, but this has helped a lot. Not to find Magnified Slayer, I should think. True. After that accident, there was one who came sniffing quite persistently. A reporter? He called himself a newsman at the time. Often I spied him lurking about the dressing room doing his research. Would you happen to remember his name? What was his name? Sorry, I've forgotten. But in the course of his interviewing, he became quite close to my partner Zack. I liked him not. I see. His name, I do not recall, but his scent, the cloying aroma of mint. Yes, whenever he smiled, which was far too often. I see. Thanks for your help. It does no good to interfere with the past, Mr. Wright. You will not uncover answers, only wounds. I'm sorry. I had begun to notice a dark curtain hanging over Troop Gramarye, and I began to realize what I had to do. I had to protect Trucy from that darkness. The reporter he mentioned, the newsman, I never learned who that was at the time. Though I've got a pretty good idea who it is now. Hey, Crystal, stop that! What are you doing? Do you want me to put you outside? Huh? Want me to pet you a little bit? Let me pet you a little bit. Come here. You have no choice. I have taken you by force. You silly girl. You silly girl. Now be gone! She was clawing at the, like the blinds on the windows, and it was bugging me. The last floss-thin thread connecting Zack Gramarye to this world. Sooner or later, I'd have to track him down. Don't step on this! Yay! Oh! Cool. Got 2 new places. Was that the last of the past, or is there still another one? Oh, that's all. Alright. You silly cat. You silly. Silly cat. Alright, let's go to the studio, I guess. You silly cat. Silly kitty cat. Silly kitty. I'm patting her on the head and she's trying to paw my hand away. Present day Drew Studio. Ah! Well, what do we have here? Remember me? Of course I remember you. Journalist meets ex-attorney in bar, end quote. Oh, he's so ugly. Can I ask what you're doing here? Mr. Misham was poisoned and his daughters... Oh, yes, I know. Oh, how I know. Yes! Crystal! Come here, I'll take me outside. Ugh. Here, I'll be right back. She's causing mischief. Alright, the cats are outside. Let's see, it's caused me no end of grief, to be honest. Journalist wishes he'd tracked down case just a little quicker, end quote. Were you on the trail of the... Are you on the trail of this case the whole time? Zach Gramery was a good friend. Zach said something to that effect back at the Borscht Bowl Club. Hey, Double Escape Man, how are you doing? How am I doing? I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing? Is he a clown? Unfortunately, no. That's his real face. Ugh, we spent like an hour doing close-ups on his face and it really sucked. What a character, what a man. You're back on the Minecraft server? Yeah, I saw you post that picture and it made me want to play too. Maybe tomorrow I'll play some Minecraft. If a little, no, a lot, no, extremely rough around the edges. Do you think I could ask you a few questions? Oh? You serious? I mean, I'm usually the interviewer, not the interviewee. Journalists ask questions, not the other way around. End quote. I really hate this guy. Trying to make a city with neighborhoods. Oh, cool. Oh, no, that wasn't Gumshoe, it was Guamshoe. I don't know if they spelt it wrong, or it was on purpose, I don't know. Lieutenant Gumshoe? Fine. Shoot, I don't care. People have been asking me all sorts of things lately. Let's look around first. I don't think there's really anything new. Objection! I just have to do that when I see this pose. What? I can't believe it's been 7 years. I have to stop torturing myself with these things. I know, I'll just pretend it's saying something else. The post office? Why, it's right over there! Good day, sir! Speaking of the post office. Yeah, I don't know how to change your avatar back to Steve instead of Alex. This frame looks even smaller sitting next to that photo. Just the right size for a commemorative stamp indeed. A commemorative stamp put there by a daughter that killed her father. Sometimes life just sucks. I don't know until you were in the server and you guys mentioned it. I see a picture of a young Mr. Misham and a very young Vera. They're smiling. They look happy. Of course, now Mr. Misham's passed away, and Vera's on death's doorstep in the hospital. Guess I'll just do what I can and hope it's enough. I don't think there's really anything new here. Let's just go ahead and talk. Family of forgers. It was tragic what happened to Drew Misham and his daughter. Forgery is a serious crime, and they paid the price. You know what really did them in, though? Don't you? Yes, a forged diary page. The night I interviewed him, I found out something about Mr. Misham I hadn't known. What's that? You know, he always felt like he was being watched. Every day for 7 years, walls have ears, potatoes have eyes, end quote. Being watched? You mean he felt guilty? No, I'm not talking about feelings here. You know, I felt watched too. The whole time I've been on this case, no less. Journalist gets tingling sensation on back of neck, freaks out! End quote. Because you felt guilty? Why would I feel guilty? You felt like you were being watched, huh? I wonder what it all means. Oh, that chat option has disappeared and became paranoia. Drew Mission felt like he was being watched. And you along with him. You sure it wasn't just nerves? Nerves? No, it's nothing so mundane. I stopped paying attention to my nerves a long time ago. Ugh, quit doing it! Ugh. But I felt it too. Journalist sure he is being watched, end quote. Don't you wonder why Zach Gramery got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me? He completely vanishes from that courtroom. Then for 7 years he talks to no one, not a soul. Then, just as the remaining time was almost up, he contacts me in order to have this made. And then he dies. You didn't know... You ate Taco Bell? Starting to put the pieces together, are we? And you were being watched this whole time? Maybe not just me. Maybe you were too. Me? Zach Gramery. I met Zach through a case, actually. You mean the shooting of Magnify Gramery? No, before that. It's not widely known. You mean the accident? During the quick draw shoot 'em practice? You know someone who looks like Brushel? I think you should put him out of his misery. My, you're well informed. You should have seen me back then. I dug up quite the scoop. I wanted it all. Money, fame, women, a little puppy. All for me! I was younger then, and my days and nights smelled of fresher mint than they do now. Valiant Gramery did mention one particularly nosy reporter. In fact, I was on close speaking terms with Magnify Gramery at the time. I knew his daughter too, of course. Thalassa, was it? Really? Then Thalassa disappeared, quite suddenly at that. And Magnify wouldn't say a word about it. Yeah, my evil habit got the better of me. Journalist catches scent of a scoop, goes on feeding frenzy, end quote. Does he brush his hair with a toothbrush? I haven't seen him do it. He might. I set up a one-on-one interview with Thalassa's husband, see? Zach Gramery. Something strange was in the air over at Troop Gramery in those days. The whole screwy mentor controlling disciples seemed turned by then, I'm guessing. Thalassa, she was part of it all, right? Come on, you can tell me off the record. Sorry, I don't know. Anyway, I kept prying and eventually became friends with Zach. Sure, he punched me once or twice, or 5 times, but over time he came to see me as his confidant. Thought I looked like Dennis Menace's father. Valiant Gramery. He's been waiting this whole time. 7 years, eh? Waiting? For his big comeback, of course. A big revival of the Magnify Miracle. Of course it was all a dream. Because of this. The performance rights. In the absence of any official documents, he was golden. Who's to say the old man didn't give his rights to both Zach and Valiant? So Valiant waited until Zach died, legally at least. The time finally comes, and Valiant's like a kid on Christmas morning. He's getting ready for his show at the Sunshine Coliseum, you know. If that document sees the legal light of day, it's going to put a bit of a damper on the big show. He's a sorry one, that Valiant Gramery. It's so creepy. He's scratching his head right here, but I don't think he's brushing his hair. Lost out to his partner at work, and in love, too. Love? It's the same old story, really. 2 disciples and their mentor's only daughter. What has 3 sides and all of them pointy? A love triangle. That is pretty classic. When you're in a performing troupe, that's your world. It's like family. One with an entire high school's worth of drama, intrigue, and backstabbing. And in the middle of this, all this, Thalassa has Trucy. And then she dies. I need to find out more about this Thalassa. Alright, let's present everything we have. Mr. Brushel, could you take a look at this? Oh, I hear you loud and clear, loud and clear. So you want me to write an article on that, right? What's the angle? Actually, no, that's okay. I don't need an article. I just was wondering if you had any thoughts on this. I hear you. I hear you! You want me to sniff around for a scoop? Well, you've come to the right nose, my friend. Ugh. It's odorless. Thanks. Okay, that was less than informative. I know I don't have to read it again. Ugh, his nose. Mr. Brushel, do you know this person? Do I know this person? Of course! I was friends with Zack after all. He hit me a few times. 5 times, actually. But still, I'd never forget his wife. Thalassa Gramarye. Magnify Gramarye's only daughter. Do you think you could tell me more about her? Well, why the heck not? Okay. Let's show him everything else first. I'm not sure all this first page stuff is really gonna spark anything with anyone, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it anyway. Yeah, if we don't finish this tonight, it most likely will be over tomorrow night. Hold it! It'll never, yes it will be over. Oh, and I looked at how much the next 2 games are on the iPad, and they are like $15 or $16, both of them. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get one, but the only way I'll be able to continue the series is if I buy them on my iPad, so we'll see. Talk to us about Thalassa. I don't know if that's how you say that, but that's how I'm saying it. So Thalassa married Zack and had Trucy, see? It was her second marriage, actually. You mean she was divorced? I hadn't heard this one before. Not quite. Her late husband was a performer too. He died in an accident on stage. Tragic, really. They had only been married 1 year. I didn't know. Ah, but she was a beauty. I still carry a portrait photo of her around, you know? Why? That's kind of weird. I've known Trucy since she was a little thing, too. She got the better deal, really. She's got you for family, after all. What do you mean? Just reminiscing, you know. Thalassa has another child besides Trucy, end quote. What? But Trucy said she was an only child. Ah, yes, this one she had with her previous husband. Her previous husband? Her first husband who died on stage? Yep, they had themselves a kid. Another orphan now. That's another one who slipped through the cracks. No idea where they are now. Thalassa had another child. Do you think I could borrow that photo? Sure. I can be generous on occasion, you know. Right, Thalassa's portrait added to the court record. I won't need this locket anymore. Better return it to Trucy before I forget. People and events all get tangled together and get bigger and bigger. Bigger and biggerer. Don't you think? I was too busy wondering about biggerer to listen to what you were saying. Sometimes you just gotta accept that you won't be able to untangle it all, I think. Maybe so, but still. I have to do what I can. And I have to tell what I find to those who come next. Next, you say? I'm not the one who will close the curtain on this little play. Apparently, that's not my role anymore. Magnify. I was just wondering what Magnify would think of all this. What do you mean? Haven't you seen it in Trucy? She's got his power. You mean how I can't lie to Trucy? It was the same with Magnify, and with his daughter, Thalassa. It's a strange thing. You think it's some Gramarye gene? Magnify once told me back when Zack married Thalassa. He said Zack had good eyes, but not good like a Gramarye's eyes. Not that good. I wonder if Zack ever played a game of poker with his wife. Who knows what the Gramarye secret was? Maybe nobody now that Zack's gone. Zack Gramarye. Oh, are we done here already? So you'll chip in with double escapement. Him for more Gumshoe. Gumshoe's not in the next game. It's Detective Fulbright. I really don't like him. Gumshoe's not in the next games. The next two games. That I know for sure. I just pictured this guy with a long blonde wig. It was awful. What? Let's see, the plot had finally begun to reveal itself. It sprouted from a warp in the Gramarye fabric and grew, swallowing everything, wrapping itself around the Gramarye's power. A power which passed from Magnify Gramarye to Thalassa to the next generation. And I would once again need to meet the one who bridged it all together. Alright, it looks like Drew Studio's done. I still don't have what we need for the Borscht Bowl Club. So let's just go here. Present day Sunshine Coliseum. Well, this is a blast from the distant past. Long time no see, Mr. Valent. 7 years has it been? Frankly, I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Actually, I came because there's something I want to ask you. I've spoken to the press. I have nothing more to say. I've spoken to a lot of people myself, and come to some conclusions. So I'm playing some sweet, sweet pony friends too? No, not after that demon pony I made. After I finished streaming, I forgot to turn the game off. So, I don't know, I had my headphones out so I couldn't hear it either. And I had my websites up and was looking at shit, and then I closed the window and that stupid horse was staring at me. The thing was ugly. Alright, but then I realized I needed to hear it from you. Alright, well, what do we need to hear? Hold on, I need to look at this. This is a blue badger out here. Yeah! A man in a costume is handing out balloons to the kids. It's nice to know kids still like balloons somehow. They're a favorite of mine. Balloon sellers, that is. I would have them join me on the big stage. They can hand out balloons to the children in the audience. Wouldn't all those balloons get in the way of seeing your show? Bravo! The possibility had not even occurred to me. Phoenix Wright, entertainment consultant. That's really all I want to look at was the blue badger. I don't give a shit about anything else. Let us speak. Magnify Gramarye. I've walked a difficult road these past 7 years. Because you couldn't perform Magnify's repertoire? Do not be deceived! Valent's skill is the real deal. I do not require my mentor's hand-me-downs. No, it was my partner who slowed me on my way. Zach Gramarye. His rather well-performed disappearing act 7 years ago was the end. Or so I thought. Zach Gramarye murdered our mentor and fled to escape punishment for his crime. You said something to that effect 7 years ago, didn't you? I remember it as it were only yesterday. Yet that was not the way of it, in the end. For while he vanished, the suspicions upon my own person never did. His partner Zach vanished to protect him. That's what those thieving magpies of a press said. I had no idea. Did it freak you out at all? You kiddo looked at— wait. What are we talking about? Are we still talking about that horse? That horse freaked me the hell out. And I don't know what Ranpuma's talking about. None of our kids saw the horse, thank God. I think they would be like crying in their rooms. Yet that very same press comes to me now, feigning interest. They cover the greatest magic show in history as if it were a— what? A vaudevillian distraction? No idea. I don't know what Ranpuma is talking about then. The kids never saw the horse. And here must I stand, smiling at them all. What am I if not a player in some fiendish farce? Might I suggest it's because you never made it clear what happened? Magnify's death is still a mystery to this day. Which is why I came here to get the answer from you. Who'd have thought? I knew I'd be seeing these sooner or later. The audience has no business stepping upon the stage. They must be content to sit and stare at the spotlight. That sounds an awful lot like something I heard 7 years ago. He showed it to them after you left the room. Everyone laughed at you. Everyone laughed at me? Why would they laugh at me? Let's show him things. I think this happened before he even came home from work. Let's look at stuff. I don't have a badge anymore. Why are you randomly saying things? Photo of young Thalassa. Could you take a look at this, Mr. Valent? Your forgiveness, I beg. Valent has eyes for naught but the preparations for his show. The Colosseum, the hot air balloon, the sign, oh, and the balloon cellar. Oh, right, sorry. What does the balloon guy have to do with this show? It's never too random a moment to mention the badge. Have you ever seen a bunny roar? No. Well, I've seen the Vorpal bunny, I guess. From Monty Python and the Holy Grail. So I guess we have everything for his psych blocks because I am almost certain we do not have what we need for the Borscht Bowl Club one. Zach's stuff. Can I check this? Actually, maybe I do. But let's go ahead and see what his have. Magnifies death. Ask what you will, you'll not get anything from me. I'm just as much a part of this affair as you are now. I have to know what happened. For 7 long years I have endured. Now, finally, the curtain lifts on my new golden age. All the miracles of our troop within my grasp. Sorry to do this, Valiant, but right now I need answers. I think I'll start by dropping a bomb that should shake things up. Valiant, I wouldn't be so sure about those miracles. Not as long as I have this. This? Okay, good. And what might that be? I see it bears the Gramarye seal. I should have brought this to your attention sooner, but I didn't imagine you'd be planning your comeback quite so fast. Can you post a link? I think so. Let me double check. I guess go ahead and try to post it, and if it doesn't post, then I'll change the settings, because I think I turned off links, but only for my daughter's streams. What is this? A document showing the true recipient of the performance rights to Magnify's miracles. What? Zach Gramarye? He wrote this? What? He passed everything to his daughter? Trucy Enigmar. Actually, she's officially my daughter these days. Preposterous! Zach is gone. Vanished into the void. This is the genuine article. Zach was alive when he wrote this. Both myself and the notary can testify to this. What? Why? Why does fate toy with me so? Why must my life be lived enthralled to the dead? You're not the only one with that problem. You shot Magnify. Yes, it was Zach. It was. Oh, it's a video? Okay, well, let me mute. Well... And then he left, and my career as a magician fell into darkness. I'll check it out in just a second. Did you think there might be some way out of it? Say, if you could prove Zach Gramarye shot Magnify? Was that why you testified? Yes! My way out! It should have been my way out. Well, it might not be too late, Mr. Valiant. All you need is a way to prove your case. Who really killed Magnify Gramarye? I'm not sure I've got this. But anyways, I'm gonna mute this so you guys don't hear it too. Bunny yawns. Are they supposed to be making noise, or? Oh, they're so cute. The cute little bunnies. Alright, sorry about that. Who really killed Magnify? I don't think we have what we need here. They roar silently though. Aww, they're so cute. I used to have rabbits when I was little. Alright, I don't think we have what we need. But I think we do have what we need for the other one. Let's see. The Grammar is secret. It does look like they're roaring. It's so cute. I have to know more about this power of Trucy's. It's like she can see right into people's minds. Let's see. Can use resources again. Trucy does. Why is that? Thalassa is officially missing, correct? And I think I know why you don't want to talk about her. I don't remember what we showed for this. Was it the stamp? Take that! Okay, the three of you were a team once. Not that the entire country doesn't already know this. At your peak, you were the biggest stars around. Yeah, there's another story behind the frame, one that not many know. Thalassa lost her life during a rehearsal to you and Valiant Gramarye's bullets. It was an accident. It wasn't me. How could I shoot my dear Thalassa? I'm sure Valiant would say the same thing. Why, it's just like another murder I might mention. Damn you. Her eyes, I loved her eyes. To think they could read my mind, it was frightening. Like there was a warmth in them that felt like an embrace. Let's see. I don't need any power to see through that, buddy. There's someone else other than Trucy. How would I know? My chances are slim. It would take a miracle to learn the truth. Or maybe one has already occurred. There's someone else with the power and I know who. This boy? His name is... I forget. Something weird. Who could he be? An attorney. Attorney? I noticed him when I went to visit a friend's law offices. So, what are we to make of this, oh great ex-attorney? You can show me pictures of strange boys all you like. But you could at least say something like, I'm this boy. I could use a laugh. Perhaps you wouldn't laugh if you knew the facts. This might not be 100% proof, but it's close. There's a link between this boy and Thalassa. Actually, it's more of a ring. A ring? Perhaps this will refresh your memory. I just happen to have evidence showing this missing link. And I think it's her bracelets. Magnify? Magnify was a magician who was the teacher of this guy and the previous guy we were talking to. Let's see, here. Magnify was the leader of the three here, and he was the father of the girl in the middle. And he was moited! But nobody knows who murdered him. What line? Oh, yeah. Actually, I know something. Your marriage to Thalassa was her second. How did you know this? Her first husband, he died a year after they were wed, yes? He was a performer. They met when he joined us Grammaries as a guest on our show. After Thalassa wed him, she left the troupe for a while. And you say she had a child then? I have a photograph of her here. I couldn't help notice what she was wearing when I first saw this. Those bracelets stand out. They are Gramarye family heirloom. This boy wears a bracelet just like the ones in the picture. What? So that's why. Why what, Mr. Zack? I took this photograph of Thalassa before she left us. When she returned, she wore only one bracelet. I bet I know where that other one went. She gave it to this boy, her son. Oh, we got them all! Unlock successful. The Gramarye secret. The strange power. I myself do not know from where it comes. Yet the fact is that it is passed down the Gramarye line. It runs in their veins. What is it? I asked her, Thalassa, once. This is what she told me. Her power responds to tension in others. Tension? If she were to face a person and they became tense, even slightly, then she would know, no matter how hard they tried to hide it from her. So she could see it? Not quite. This is the strangest part of all. She wouldn't realize that she was subconsciously detecting this tension without the use of a particular object, or in her case, objects. Objects? Wait, were they something she wore? Yes, her bracelets. I admit the first time I saw one of those, I felt there was more to it than just fashion. But what kind of power could a bracelet have? I've made a decision. I will tell you all I know. Consider it a gift. Oh gosh. Trucy and Apollo. Well, I hardly need you to tell me at this point, but those two are brother and sister, yes. And the brother, too, has this power of theirs. So Trucy has an older brother. I wonder what will come of that. Mr. Wright, tonight, after our game is done, I will return to a life of hiding. I would not see her live her life without knowing. I understand. I'll tell the two of them when the time is right. I am in your debt, once again. No kidding. What I want to know is how all this got to be so messed up. The bracelets! Those bracelets are made of a special alloy. It's said to expand and shrink very slightly in response to body warmth. So, they're temperature sensitive or something? Yes. This is how they can shrink to the exact size of their wearer's wrist. And this has something to do with the power? What have I told you? The Gramarye power reacts to tension in others. When a Gramarye senses tension, they too become tense. And this tension translates into minute contractions of the muscles. So minute, they cannot sense it on their own. Their muscles? Oh, so that's what the bracelets are for. With a bracelet on, one can sense these contractions. Because the bracelet is always a perfect fit. So when the person they're watching gets tense, the bracelet feels tighter on their wrist. Precisely. But that alone doesn't really count as mind reading. I believe I understand how the process works from there. It's a simple question of eyesight. Eyesight? I guess that sounds simple enough. Eyesight. Have you ever heard of kinetic vision? Something about the ability to see moving objects with a full clarity, right? I've heard of it before. They say athletes can see a moving ball like it was stopped if they focus. Oh, but it's not confined to sports alone. It all relies on the ability to focus. When we focus, we can see many things. The faintest twitch of the face, and the meaning that lies behind it. Therein lies one of the secrets of magic. One must know the mind of a crowd before one may distract it. So basically what you're saying is, the Gramarys can see really well. For them, seeing is more than believing. It is knowing. Their power relies on eyesight combined with exceptional focus. Things are starting to come into focus for me, too. Of course, it is difficult to maintain such levels of focus for any length of time. But what if someone could tell you when to focus? Or something! Precisely! But wait, Trucy doesn't have any bracelets. You're talking about poker, yes? The timing of when to focus is so elementary, she probably does it without thinking. I doubt Trucy herself has realized this. That is all I know of things Gramarye. Thank you, Mr. Zack. If this boy's bracelet is the real thing, then he will use it before long, thereby awakening his powers. I'll keep that in mind. Well, shall we play a game? Ah, I've said so much. Let me say one more thing. I will tell you of that night. That night? The night my mentor, Magnify Gramarye, passed from this world to the next. There were 2 pistols and 2 letters sent. This was Magnify's test. A test? In his last years, Magnify Gramarye worked us to the bone. No, to the pain. But that night I could not shoot him. So I shot the clown's forehead instead. This, it seems, was the correct answer. Take this. I give my art to you, Zack. What? It is thanks for playing along with my show. You shot well tonight, Zack. Though I would not have minded dying by your hand. How could I shoot you? You are my mentor. Bah! I thought you might say that. If I went home without shooting anything, what would you have done then? Then of course I would have given Valant his chance. And if I had shot you in the forehead instead, then it would be over. If you or Valant were to shoot me in the head, then I to the darkness would go, and my art with me. A fitting end, don't you think? Ah. Yet this ending too gives me no cause for regret. I thank you, Zack. And I'm sorry. I've done much that was wrong in my day. It seems to me that Magnify wanted you to be his successor all along. That's why the time he gave you was earlier than Valant's. Perhaps, but it's not something we will ever know for sure now. I wonder, what is Valant up to these days? Waiting for you to die? If 7 years pass like this, the performance rights go to him. Ah, and now here I am, and his dream is ended. It's worse than that, actually. Public opinion's a fickle thing, you know. What? You don't mean to tell me they've put the blame for our mentor's death on him? The trial ended when you vanished, Mr. Zack. There were even rumors that Valant had helped you pull it off. But that's madness! Well, it seems that before I can once again disappear from this world, I have one more act to perform. Isn't it odd that sorting out my life should prove so complicated? Even though I'm dead? Ooh, you got 50% completion on Metal Gear Solid. Cool. That night, Zack Gramarye was killed. He died as Shady Smith, a mysterious traveler with a secret past. But he left one thing behind before he parted. This. His confession. To use as I saw fit. Of course, he'd killed no one. This was his way of tying up loose ends with his old partner, Valant Gramarye. Let's see if I can read it. To whom it may concern, 7 years past, I, Zack Gramarye, murdered my mentor, Magnify Gramarye. I apologize for the trouble caused by my sudden departure from court, and hereby confess to my crime. Zack Gramarye. Zack's confession added to the court record. Okay, I guess we need that for something. I guess we need it for this. Magnifies death. Ask what you will, you get nothing from me. Finally, the curtain lifts in the golden age, blah blah blah. Sorry to do this, Valen. Blah, blah, blah. What might that be? He passed everything to his daughter? She seemed preposterous. Wah! Why does fate toy with me so? Why must my life be lived in thrall to the dead? Alright, I think we do show him this. I believe I have the answer to your prayers right here. Zach Gremory wrote one more thing before passing on. This is a confession, in which he admits to the killing of Magnify Gremory. See? All according to your plan. I am a magician by trade. Deception is my life's work. I fool the audience, give them a fleeting dream. Yet, it seems the tables have turned. Now I am the audience, believing in the deceptions I have wrought upon myself. Zach wrote this right in front of me. After I explained your situation to him, Alakazam! Alright, Magnify Grammar. You do not know that this confession is nothing but lies. Yes, it's my opinion that Zach Gremory killed no one. Then you must be thinking the truth is a simple matter of elimination. Two received instructions to kill, but if one is innocent, then the one who remains is guilty. That would be a logical conclusion, yes. So he vanished to protect me, his partner. Ha 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 ha! A stirring tale, 'tis true. Did you shoot Magnify Gremory in the forehead? If I had, and I told you, what would you do? Run to the police, perchance? Do as you will. There is nothing left for me now. It is true, after all. I have little talent. I needed my mentor Magnify's repertoire. It was as if a little demon grabbed hold of me. I knew it. So Valiant Gremory did kill the great Magnify. So sorry, Mr. Wright, but it was not I who shot my mentor. What? But if it wasn't you, then who was it? There wasn't another disciple, was there? Another disciple, such as, I don't know, Knack and Talent Gremory, maybe? What? Your wild fancies couldn't be further from the truth. Only Zack and Valiant received those threatening letters. But there was another. One more person could have fired that pistol that night. I don't suppose you figured it out by now. If it wasn't Zack or Valiant, who shot Magnify? Then it had to be the only other person at the scene, which means... Wait, you don't mean... Yes, the great Magnify Gremory himself. Ah, what? So Magnify Gremory committed suicide? You find it hard to believe? To be honest, I hadn't even imagined it a possibility. When I arrived that night, the old man was still alive. He appeared to be asleep. I could not shoot him. But when I turned and made to leave the room, the old man called out to me. So you spoke with Magnify Gramarye? Yes, and this is why I knew what he had done. Magnify transferred the rights to his repertoire to my partner, Zach Gramarye, not me. I see. Then I guess I owe you an apology. I always thought you were the one who did it. You owe me no apology. Huh? My crime was, in a way, more serious than that of murder. What? Your crime? Is Valiant Gramarye confessing something to me? What could be more serious than murder? Valiant's crime. You see, I knew that 2 letters had been sent. There are no secrets between partners. It was easy to find out. That was when I understood Magnify's plan. He wanted to die by one of your hands? Little did I expect it had anything to do with the rights to his repertoire. That was when I heard it. The little demon whispering inside my heart. The demon. Let me confess, I had intended to shoot Magnify, and I planned on framing my partner for the crime. What? That night I prepared something before going to Magnify's hospital room. Which was? IV fluid, of course. I'd seen it on an earlier visit. If Zach did not shoot, I would do the deed. Then I would use the IV liquid to place the murder on his hands. That was my plan. But you didn't shoot him. I could not. The demon in my heart fled when the moment came. But then Magnify called me back. I'm sorry, Valiant. I'm giving my magic to Zach, not you. You still lack the draw he has. Please, help him if you can. I left the room, and then I stopped. The shock of what I had just been told consumed me. That's when I heard that fateful gunshot. Magnify Gramarye killing himself. Then the demon awoke anew within me. Zach killed him. He was the one. Frame him and the magic will be yours! I altered the scene of his suicide. I took the pistol from his hand, wiped off the prints. Then I used the syringe to add the IV liquid I'd brought. So in the end, things happened pretty much as planned. Magnify died and you framed Zach for his murder. As planned indeed. Of course, the outcome was somewhat different than I had anticipated. Well, what do you think? You can't be arrested for intentions, can you? Like, if I confess that, oh, I was going to shoot someone and didn't, is that a crime? I think it is. It's, conspiracy to kill or something like that. Something like that. But it's like you go to jail for, like, I don't know. Not for very long, because you really didn't kill anyone. I think. I don't know for sure. Let's see. Well, what do you think? Do you believe my story? Can it be believed, truly? That was 7 years ago. I don't know what to believe. But, yes? I'm glad I heard it from you, Mr. Valiant. Thank you. It is I who should be thanking you, Mr. Wright. Only when I had lost everything could I make my decision. You're going to turn yourself in? My partner may have vanished, but not so my guilt. And as my guilt stays, all else begins to leave me. My friends, my performance rights, my magic. I've had enough of vanishing acts. I understand. I thought my life was ruled by a dead man. But I find I was wrong. For Zach Gramarye was alive. Well, not anymore. And now it occurs to me, what if he was not the only one who survived? What do you mean? You see, now that I think about it, I realize that we never saw proof of her demise. We never saw her body. Her? The mind races and the mouth flaps on. My apologies. Forget this matter. I can only hope that the day will come when I again meet my partner, Zach Gramery. Then I shall apologize for my terrible mistake. I'm glad we had this chance to talk. Thank you. Zach Gramery, Shady Smith. Whichever name you prefer, he is no longer with us. The truth revealed in that trial was only a sliver, and the impenetrable darkness that remained has taken another life. I knew what I'd have to do to push back the darkness for good, and it would involve paying that man a visit. Alright, I guess we go back to, what's its face? Kristoff, Gavin. It's the last one. Sorry, sir. Prisoner Kristoff Gavin is currently occupied. I see. Do you know when he'll be finished? Well? Could you go find out? Certainly, sir. Please wait here a moment. My apologies to the guard. But there's something I need to see. The envelope! Let's look. There it is. The yellow envelope. And the sender is Drew Misham. I was right! When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. It was a yellow envelope. I heard it was left at this crime scene. If this is the last letter that Drew Misham wrote, then there's something I need to do. The last thing I need to do, in fact. Here goes. Let's see if this etroquinine spray finds anything. So, this was Drew Misham's messenger of death. It was the stamp, all right, no mistaking it. And his last letter was sent to Kristoff Gavin. Gotcha. Let's see what it says. The interview request came like you said it would, and they're looking into the case. I swear on my life I won't tell them about you. So please, release the spell you've put on my daughter. I'll write later with a report. Drew Misham. Gotcha. A spell that he put on his daughter? Finally, decisive evidence. What's this? A burglar in jail? Gavin! I didn't know you moonlighted in larceny, right? Gavin, there's something I have to ask you. Can I steal your stuff? The answer is no. My apologies, but there's not much I care to discuss. Vera Misham hasn't received her verdict yet. You follow me, Gavin? There are no known survivors of the atroquinine poisoning. But it never hurts to hope. Okay, I'll be leaving now then. Right, wait. Yeah, Gavin? Would you mind leaving that letter? It's private. Oh, sorry. Forgot I had it. Many thanks. Whoa. It's a camera! What? We've now seen all the clues in this case. Clues I gathered over 7 long years. Now it is time. Every story has an ending. We've come to the final chapter, the final trial. Find the truth. You're the only ones who can. That face. To be continued. Yeah, sure, save. It's the same face. Welcome to court. 7 years, all leading to one verdict. A verdict which you must decide. Is the defendant Vera Misham innocent or guilty? The courtroom doors are opening. The trial awaits. Are you ready to begin? I had to click on that. Something inside me. Rising. Surfacing. Something important. Lost long ago. It's close now. So close. October 9th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom number 3. Court is now in session for the trial of Vera Misham. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution's ready to rock. Prosecutor Gavin, how is the defendant Vera Misham's condition? Acute atroquinine poisoning. According to her physician, she could die at any time. Thus, her absence from the courtroom today. What? They can't put her on trial without her being here. It is unusual. They should wait for her to get better and do it then. It's so bureaucratic of them. That's being a little harsh. They can't delay the trial any longer, or they risk having no one left to try. A trial without a verdict can only cause grief. The records of this case and experience tell us this. Apologies to the defendant, but the show must go on. Right, if Vera dies, the trial will be cancelled. I'm not going to let that happen. Mr. Wright told me everything that's been going on behind the curtain all these years. I'm going to get Vera her innocent verdict while there's still time. Very well. Your opening statement, Prosecutor Gavin. The prosecution's case is unchanged by recent events. Why did Vera Misham succumb to poison? Because she couldn't live without the guilt of what she'd done. But Vera was poisoned with atroquinine, the exact same poison that took her father's life. What better confession could you ask for? Being the killer, she would have had access to the poison. Significant, since it's rather hard to come by. That is true. In other words, I see no need for further discussion. We could have had our verdict yesterday. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no objections, I see no reason to postpone a verdict. What we need to worry about isn't the verdict, but the trial itself. The defense holds that Vera Misham is the victim, not the killer. If that's so, then you have to prove something. She was in court, giving her testimony before us. Goodbye. How do you propose her killer poisoned her? Oh, and incidentally, it would be nice if you told us who her mystery killer was. The prosecution's objection is sustained. I ask the defense to prove its claims to the court. Tell us how Vera Misham was poisoned. I've got 2 things to prove here. Who did it and how? Which to hit first? Let's do the who first. Just who poisoned Vera Misham? I have a name for you. Just a moment here, Forehead. You are aware this is an accusation you're making. I think a bit of risk is in order. This much, to be precise. I understand. No problem, I know what I'm doing this time. Then let's hear it. Who poisoned Vera Misham? Whoa, what's this? Christoph Gavin?
Objection!
What's your game? My bro? There's no way he could do a thing like that. You should know that better than anyone else. Indeed. He is behind bars. I know. However, that doesn't mean it was impossible to do what he did. What? Christoph Gavin had the opportunity to poison Vera Misham. Apparently, the defense has something in mind. Let's see what it is. How did Kristoff Gavin, currently in solitary confinement, poison her? The nail polish. In the basement. Or... in the dining room. Let's see. What's this? My, what a beautiful bottle. I'd like to give whoever designed that a hand. Is that nail polish? It's colorless. Ah! Something the matter? No, nothing. Nothing at all. So the killer put poison in this bottle and made her drink it? As Prosecutor Gavin has told us, this is nail polish. Nail polish? It's like paint for nails. Know any women with red nails? Ah, my wife has red nails. I see. So she's been painting them all this time. What? You didn't know? Let's recall yesterday's trial. Remember when Vera was testifying to the court? Court is now back in session. Vera seems pretty tense. She's practically chewing her fingernails clean off. Whenever Vera became nervous, she had a habit of biting her nails. Her nails? Ah! Prosecutor Gavin? When the prosecution had Vera examined, did they check her nails? Bailiff, have them check the defendant's nails at once! Kristoff Gavin didn't have to poison that bottle the day of the poisoning, Your Honor. The moment Vera first held that bottle in her hand, her fate was sealed. But wait. This business about Kristoff Gavin giving her that bottle is only conjecture. It's simply inconceivable. Prosecutor Gavin doesn't seem to think so. That face tells me one thing. Kristoff Gavin's own younger brother doesn't find it inconceivable at all. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? If you feel there's a clear and pressing need, then we may have to summon Kristoff Gavin from jail as a special witness. Fine. I've known for some time that an impenetrable darkness lurked at the bottom of this. A darkness that has swallowed even myself. Okay, the defense's wishes granted. Let prisoner Kristoff Gavin take the stand. Bailiff, bring proceedings to call a special witness. The witness is Kristoff Gavin, currently residing in solitary cell 13 at Central Prison. We're almost there. Ah, Your Honor, how nice to see you again. It's been quite a while, hasn't it? To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? It's not every day I'm summoned from my solitary cell. In fact, it's never. I think you already know, Mr. Kristoff Gavin. Ah, Mr. Justice. I hear you've been doing quite well for yourself. Ugh. Why do I feel like somehow he's still my boss? Stiff upper lip, Apollo. You can do it. Does this bottle look familiar? Ariadne nail polish. Why, yes, I use it myself. As did the late defendant, I hear. She's not dead yet. And? Was there something concerning this bottle you wish to ask me about? You had your eyes closed listening, and you just hear clapping, and it's like, what the hell? Sorry, I was clapping. Sorry. Alright, is there something you want to ask about? I admit I respect her for her taste in nail polish. Her taste, indeed. This nail polish was somehow Vera Misham. This nail polish was how Vera Misham was poisoned. Atroquinine, was it? You're well informed about the case, Mr. Gavin. Even in solitary, much comes to my desk, and I have nothing to do but read. Well, Clavier? Maybe you can explain this. You're being accused again. By him. Again. And? You agree with his accusation, do you? Let's hold a proper trial, shall we? Christoph Gavin, your testimony, please. I'd be delighted. The charges against you are quite severe, Mr. Gavin. You are suspected of the poisoning of the defendant, Vera Misham. Please testify on this matter to the court. Poisoning Vera. Owning the same nail polish does not a murderer make. I've been in solitary confinement for half a year. How could I poison her? Her father died of the same poison, the meaning of which should be clear. The prosecution's case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Surely you aren't going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning her father, too. Well, I'm afraid the defense's claim is sounding rather unlikely. Naturally. For one, I don't even know the Mishams. Isn't that so, Mr. Justice? Very well, Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination. I'm accusing Christoph Gavin, my ex-boss. But I know he poisoned the Mishams. The question is, when could he have done it? Not to mention, why? Poisoning Vera. Oh, we can use our bracelet. Alright, let's press. Tell me, is the nail polish expensive? Ariadne is a nail polish of the highest order. Not only is it fabulously expensive, but it is made in extremely limited quantities. And you and Vera just happen to both use it? That can't be a coincidence. Objection! I'm guessing it's not a coincidence. Huh? It's simple. Ariadne is the best nail polish one can buy, correct? Then if one wanted the best nail polish, one would buy it. That makes sense. Why, it's a bit like my feelings towards my brand name, Gavel here. And my silk top hat. Are we all done showing off our refined tastes? Please, continue with your tasteful testimony. I've been in solitary confinement for half a year. Can't you still make contact with the outside world in solitary? Objection! Ah, so we had an accomplice on the outside. Is this your latest accusation? I'm allowed a certain modicum of letter writing. Objection! If the contents of those letters are closely checked, it would be extremely difficult to send a hit request. Prosecutor Gavin's on the warpath, isn't he? Yeah, you think so too, Trucy? I bet I know why. He must be nervous with his big brother watching. And maybe that's a weakness I can turn to my advantage. Are we cool with that? May I continue? Her father died the same way. The defendant is not dead yet. She will be. There are no known cases of someone surviving atroquinine poisoning. You seem to know a lot about atroquinine. I know a lot about a lot of things, which is why I suggest we pick up the pace. Or else you'll be short one defendant, for what it's worth. The witness will refrain from speaking ill of the ill. My apologies. Shall I continue? Prosecution case holds. She poisoned her father, then attempted to poison herself. Vera had no reason to want to commit suicide. And also, who would commit suicide by doing their nails? Objection! The answer is quite simple. Basically, allow me to explain, beginning with, why did she do it? The answer is quite simple. She couldn't live with her own guilt. Next, why did she use nail polish to poison herself? This too is simple. So she could die doing something that she liked. Something that she liked? Once she saw that trial wasn't going her way, she knew she would die. And that's not easy to bring poison into a courtroom. It's not easy to bring poison to the courtroom. Must I explain further? I believe that's clear enough. Crystal clear. Wow, the two brothers together is like a two-man wrecking team. They could use a little more teamwork, though. Surely you aren't going to suggest I was responsible for poisoning your father, too. Both Vera and Mr. Misham were poisoned with atroquinine. That really can't be a coincidence. The defense is repeating a fallacious statements based on conjecture. She got a hangnail. The prosecution requests concrete, unambiguous proof of the witness's crime. Objection sustained. The defense will please present concrete proof. Does Prosecutor Gavin seem strange to you too? It's like he's all grown up. I think that's how prosecutors are supposed to be, actually. Though he is acting different than usual. I'll bet it has a lot to do with his brother Kristoff being in the room. Well, let's make this testimony count, Apollo. Right, quick and painless. My bracelet should do the trick. Okay, I'm questioning my ex-boss. His testimony seems watertight, but he's lying. I'm sure I'll be able to see something, as long as I focus. Do I have my controller plugged in? I do. See, I'd rather check this guy out than Brushel. Brushel was awful to do this with. I don't think it's this one. Or... hold on. I don't think it's that one. I don't think it's this one either. Let's try this one. Oh, damn. Oh shit, what the fuck? Ew, that's a nasty problem you got there. You might want to, see a doctor about this.
Gotcha!
It was you who killed Drew Misham. A bluff worthy of your new mentor, Mr. Wright. Oh, really? But you see, I saw it. Right when you said, her father too. Your hand tensed unnaturally, and a little devil appeared to give me the news. And, let's assume for the sake of argument that you saw me being tense. What does that mean? Are all tense witnesses guilty? And tell me, was Drew Misham fond of nail polish too? Sorry, but there's more than one way to poison a man. You don't need nail polish to get to someone's mouth. Ah. Then I must be very talented indeed. You see, Drew Misham was killed on October 6th, while I was already in my solitary confinement cell at Central Prison. If that's not an alibi, then I don't know what is. But you found a way all the same. And I found it too. This is how you poisoned Mr. Misham. Oh, I still have this letter? I don't know if it's this or the stamp. My. And here I thought you'd come so far. Huh? I admire how you, lacking any confidence whatsoever, choose to barrel on. Your defense lacks even a shred of elegance. Much like Phoenix Wright, come to think of it. Relax, Justice. I've come this far, I must know the answer. How did the killer get to his victim when the killer was in jail? Maybe it's the stamp? I'm sure this commemorative stamp requires no introduction. The night Mr. Misham died, he was seen writing a letter. Atroquinine was found on the stamp, Mr. Gavin. So am I to understand the stamp was the murder weapon? Yes, you are. Oh, and yes. The stamp was found in your prison cell. That is all, Your Honor. Order! 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 Put poison on the back of that stamp? After Drew Misham was killed, someone paid a visit to the witness's cell. Phoenix Wright. Daddy? That's when he found the stamp. You made Drew Misham write you a letter. That's how you killed him. What? My. You've upset my poor brother to the point of uselessness. Allow me to clarify this matter, Justice. All you need to do is recall witness Spark Brushell's testimony. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put the letter in that envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching on his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp! A so-called postage stamp, end quote. He was looking for a stamp. Ergo, he had no intention of using this stamp. What are you getting at? What I'm arriving at is that this commemorative stamp was in a frame. It was more coincidence that he used it that night. That would seem to be the case. Or perhaps you mean to suggest that I can somehow manipulate coincidence. He does have a point. How would this witness know if the victim was going to use that stamp? Without that, he couldn't have planned the murder. What? Really, Clavier. Clavier? I don't know. You should be seeing through these weak-spined bluffs by now. He's right, though. How could anyone have known Mr. Mission would use that stamp that night? Least of all, Christoph Gavin locked away in his cell. Well, it seems that the defense has run out of things to say. You assume he had something to say in the first place. I believe the defense's bluff has been called. The defense's bluff? I'm not sure I agree with you there, Christoph. Clavier? Honestly, I wanted to believe you, but the defense wasn't trying to get away with a bluff. You were, Christoph! What are you saying, Prosecutor Gavin? Hair forehead. What was your accusation again? Huh? Oh, it was that this poison stamp killed Drew Misham, yeah? To which my brother responded thusly, there was no way to know when Misham would use the stamp. Yes, that's right, which is why it couldn't have been planned. Tell me, it needs to be planned. Why? Why couldn't it have been a coincidence? The defense's case is simply that Drew Misham died by that stamp. That's all. Coincidence. Christoph, you tried to slip out from under your accusation by changing the subject. If that's not bluffing, what is? What are you up to, Clavier? I could ask you the same question, Christoph. I silenced the defense with the fewest words possible. It's called efficiency. But Mr. Gavin, that's impermissible testimony. Very well, I shall take his claim head on then. Justice! What? You accuse me of Drew Misham's murder, yes? Then allow me to ask you, what possible reason could I have to kill a painter? Apollo, motive! He's talking about motive! Indeed. It's hard to see how an attorney could come to want to kill a painter. Now here's something. Why didn't he bring up the motive from the very beginning? Unless he was afraid it was a battle he might lose. So what does it mean? It means there might be a weak spot. Maybe I have some evidence to prove a motive. Well, could you tell me what it is? A motive for murder. This is a vital, if not the most vital element in this case. Please consider this when making your statement. I'd say it's about this vital. That's pretty vital. Well, Mr. Justice? I'm going through with this no matter what. Understood, Your Honor. I'd like to present evidence. And let's see what you have for us. What reason did Christoph Gavin have for wanting to murder Drew Misham? I'm gonna say it's this page? The forged page. Let's save it.
Take that!
Christoph Gavin's motive becomes clear when we consider why the stamp came to Drew Misham's studio in the first place. And why was that? Forgery, Your Honor! Go back 7 years. Drew Misham accepts his first job creating forged evidence. I've seen that before. A page from a diary, wasn't it? Magnify Grimry's diary. And when Attorney Phoenix Wright lost his badge, yes? This was the evidence he presented to his loss. This evidence is a fake, yes. But did Mr. Wright request the forgery be made? That was never proven. The defense attorney on that case was Phoenix Wright. Who other than him, drunk with the prospect of victory, could have done it? And why would they? Just out of curiosity, do you remember this letter? This is the first page. And this is the second. Those were presented in court yesterday. This letter was sent to Drew Misham by the client who requested that forgery. The enclosed stamp was none other than the poisoned commemorative stamp. Drew Misham drew his last breath just the other day. However, the motive for his murder was already 7 years old. 7 years old? The client who requested this forgery was very cautious. He tried to erase anything and anyone with connections to the forgery. To keep them from talking? But he made a mistake. The stamp was a picture of my favorite magicians, so I kept it. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much. The killer's time bomb was delayed. The poison stamp was sealed within a glass frame, where it sat for 7 whole years. Hair forehead. Do you understand what you're telling us? The one who schemed up the forged diary page was the one who poisoned the stamp. And it was Phoenix Wright who presented the forged evidence 7 years ago. Adding the two statements together, the one who schemed to kill Drew Misham was none other than Phoenix Wright.
Objection!
Sorry, but that's not how this is going to go down. Oh, then how will it go down? I checked through the records on that case when I found this. 7 years ago, just before the trial began. Oh, old boy. Here. What's this? I don't know, I just got it over there in the hall. They told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with spiky hair. And one more thing. Sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. I understand I'm asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Phoenix Wright was put on the case the day before the trial started. He didn't have time to request a forgery. The day before? Now, here's a question. Just who was Shady Enigmar's previous defense attorney? No, this can't all be... But it is all true. There was another man, a defense attorney with a badge on his collar. It was you, Christoph Gavin! Order, order, order! What is the meaning of this? Witness! Defendant! Former lawyer! Let me begin by denying this.
Objection!
It's easy enough to look up Mr. Gavin. And impossible to prove if you can't. Attorneys are registered with the court the day before the trial begins. In other words, no record remains in the court. How exactly did you intend to prove Phoenix Wright's claim? That would be difficult. I'm afraid this line of inquiry won't yield.
Objection!
Hair forehead. Are you sure you don't have evidence? Bling! What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks clammy. Clammy! Evidence! Evidence that shows this man, Christoph Gavin, requested that forgery 7 years ago. Clavier? Just prove it! Clear up these doubts now, or I swear I'm off this case. You must have thought of some evidence. Apollo! Prosecutor Gavin looks like he's in physical pain. That darkness. I have to pull the darkness out of him, and proof is the only way I can. What proves Christoph Gavin's link to Drew Misham? Well, Mr. Justice, you claim Christoph Gavin requested a forgery of Drew Misham 7 years ago. Prove it! It can be proven. Simply ridiculous. Why even discuss it? This evidence does not...
Objection!
Are you telling the truth, Apollo Justice? I am. Then I say we give the benefit of the doubt. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Very well, but if you're wrong about this, be prepared for a penalty.
Objection!
Your Honor. You do the defense an injustice. Mr. Justice is clearly passionate about his claim. Should the penalty not match his passion? Oh god. I haven't given a penalty like that in a long time. Well, Mr. Justice? Fine, Your Honor. All I have to prove is any kind of link, something that ties Kristoff Gavin to Drew Misham. And I have something that clearly does the job. Very well, Mr. Justice, present your evidence. Show us the link between our witness and Drew Misham. I guess it's the envelope? Well, let's save, because if we don't, we're gonna die. Oh, it doesn't show me the contents of the letter. I guess let's just show it, I guess. This evidence proves there's a link.
Objection!
That scrap of paper? I'm afraid I can't let you submit that. Is there some problem? There is. How could you possibly have that? You couldn't. Hmm? Hey! That's Daddy's handwriting. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright's handwriting? What's the meaning of this? Ah, I see now. Yes, of course. What do you mean, of course? I just remembered I had a visitor yesterday. Phoenix Wright came to my cell. Except I wasn't there. Phoenix Wright? When I returned, I saw he had something of mine in his possession. Of course I had no intention of letting him get away with reading my private mail. Mail? You mean this letter was in your cell? No. However, it appears Mr. Wright has yet to be cured of his bad forging habit. Well, if it's a forgery, it's not a very good one. The handwriting's terrible. This is Mr. Wright's reproduction of what was written in the real letter. A reproduction? When Mr. Wright visited Kristoff Gavin's cell, he brought with him a small video camera. What? He recorded his entire conversation with you, Mr. Gavin, and the contents of your personal mail. Regardless, this mockery of a piece of evidence will never be accepted by the court. Evidence based on a video a man with no authority whatsoever claims he took? A man who happens to be an ex-attorney suspected of forgery. Professor Gavin? Or prosecutor. Did I say professor? Prosecutor? Prosecutor Gavin? As embarrassing as this is for me to say, I'm afraid my brother is incapable of making rational judgments at the moment. Your Honor, your decision, please. The defense's claim is denied. What? Only actual evidence is permitted in a court of law. Please remove the defense's evidence from the record. Better luck next time, Justice. Well, we've certainly taken a detour from our cross-examination, but the defense appears to be lacking proof. I'm forced to end the cross-examination of Kristoff Gavin at this point. Apollo, do something! I'm thinking, but without evidence. I don't have anything I can use on him. Very well, this ends the special witness's cross-examination.
Objection!
The show's over, yet the crowd screams for more. Only now do I understand why. Prosecutor Gavin? Frankly, I'm relieved. This has been bothering me for 7 whole years, and I'm tired of the whole youthful angst scene. Now's our chance. Let's clean out the family closet, eh, Kristoff? Clavier, you're spinning out of control. Calm yourself before you say something you'll regret. Spinning out of whose control? Mine or yours? Take a moment to consider everything you've built. Your reputation as a prosecutor, your fame with the masses. You could lose it all, Clavier. Apollo, did you see that? He's trying to press Prosecutor Gavin. Prosecutor Gavin, try to remember. What's really important to you? You amuse me, Hair Forehead. I couldn't forget what's really important to me even if I tried. In fact, I haven't. Not even once. 7 years ago. Finally! You just couldn't resist, could you, Hair Right? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. State your name and occupation for the record. I'm familiar with the trial. I've watched the video several times. Didn't you find anything unnatural about it? Unnatural? Well, you did seem unusually well prepared. I mean, Mr. Wright had only just presented his evidence. And the next moment you call in Drew Misham. It was almost as if... what? Funny, it didn't even occur to me to wonder. But now that I do, I see there's only one possible explanation. Almost as if, from the very beginning, you knew Mr. Wright was going to present that evidence. Ah! Correct. I knew that if I applied the usual pressure, Phoenix Wright would eventually come up with that forged diary page. Don't do this, Clavier. I knew because you told me, Kristoff. Whoa. What? It was the night before the trial. Clavier. Kristoff? Odd seeing you at the prosecutor's office the day before the trial. I won't be appearing in the trial, actually. Huh? Why not? I won't be facing off with you on your first trial, apparently. But in exchange, I brought information. Information? The attorney who will be there in my place tomorrow is not to be trusted. Don't even give him the benefit of your respect. Listen, I want you to call in a special witness. Then... I wondered about it at the time. How did Kristoff know so much? Prosecutor Gavin. Kristoff! We were supposed to face each other in that trial. A fair fight, brother to brother. I deserved that much. You let me borrow the victim's belongings. You showed me all your research on the case. The victim's belongings? Which would have included Magnify's diary, wouldn't it? Mr. Gavin? My, Clavier. You disappoint me. You find trees, yet miss the forest. You're the one missing the forest, Mr. Gavin. You can't sweep this under the rug. Not anymore. Tell me what's going on behind that trial. What was going on behind that trial? Why not? I've achieved what I came here to do. I see no harm in a little reminiscing. Apollo, I think we're finally going to shine a light on the black belly of this thing, Trucy. We've done everything we could. I hope it's enough. 7 years ago, the day before the trial, I visited the detention center at the request of my client, Zach Gramarye. Two cards. One card. Showdown time. Enough! You lose, Gavin. Thanks for the work. Now go. To be honest, I don't know what his reasons were to this day. As far as I could tell, he dismissed me as his representation because I lost in a game of poker. I can come to no other conclusion. Daddy used to say something. If you want to know a man, you have to compete. Zach wasn't watching his points or the cards. He was watching the man behind the cards, Kristoff Gavin. I couldn't believe it. Phoenix Wright? A second-rate attorney who relies on luck and bluffs? He dismissed me and went with that pitiful excuse of a man? He deserved to die for that error alone. Hold it! So the one who requested that forgery was... Oh, I'm not admitting to anything. My point is, these two men shamed me, and I could not forgive that. Phoenix Wright and Zach Gramarye both deserved what they got. So you asked Mr. Misham to forge that evidence so you could win? But then when you were dismissed as Zach Gramarye's attorney, you used your forged evidence as a trap. You fed me information about the forgery you made. Then you gave your dirty evidence to him. You're free to imagine what you will. My point is that all I had imagined came to pass. Everything went perfectly. Ha! Ha ha ha! Incredible. If I wasn't laughing, I'd weep. Prosecutor Gavin? Perfectly? You're mad, Kristoff. Stop fooling yourself. What are you talking about, Clavier? Tell me, how did the trial end? Cancelled, when the defendant vanished. Ah, I get it. So, Kristoff, you've been living in fear for 7 years. What? You were afraid your forgery would be revealed and your reputation trashed. You couldn't leave things to chance, so you watched everyone involved with the case for 7 years. You know, he always felt like he was being watched. That's what he said, every day for 7 years. But I felt it too! Journalists sure he is being watched, end quote. Don't you wonder why Zach Gramarye got rubbed out after 7 years? Right after coming into contact with me? Wait just a minute. Zach Gramarye was seen by this reporter? How is it possible? Was he alive after being gone 7 years? Finally. I knew this moment was coming. I just didn't think we'd get here so fast. Zach Gramarye gone missing for 7 years. Trucy's father. What's wrong, Apollo? Go get him! Right. Leave it to me. Allow me to refresh the court's memory. 6 months ago, Kristoff Gavin was charged with murdering a mysterious traveler. I remember him quite well. Shady Smith, was it? Poisoned in a Chinese restaurant. Tragic! The details don't really matter right now. What matters is that Traveler was Zach Gramarye. What is it, Apollo? Huh? Keep going. We'll talk about it later. Did she already know? Someone please explain this. Mr. Justice, can you explain this? It all started 7 years ago. The great magician Magnify Gramarye's death started it. Here we go. Magnify Gramarye's death and his student Zach Gramarye the suspect. Whoever defended Zach in court successfully would be famous beyond belief. Thinking that, Kristoff Gavin did the unthinkable. He forged evidence. Drew Misham? Actually, it was his daughter, Vera, who really did the work. You took precautions when you had that forgery made, didn't you, Mr. Gavin? Precautions? To keep people from talking, of course. These two know too much. Leave them alive and there'll be nothing but trouble. That's when you planned your poisoning of the forgers. Atroquinine, applied to a commemorative stamp. But luck was on Mr. Misham's side. The bomb didn't go off. His daughter! She saved him by taking the stamp, I see. But that was the only bomb he set up. The Ariadne nail polish, of course, or that wasn't the only bomb he set up. The nail polish. You noticed something when you requested that forgery. When Vera Misham was nervous, she has a bad habit. A tendency to bite her nails. Ah! That nail polish was her good luck charm. She was almost kidnapped once. Since then, she's been... well, you can see for yourself. She refuses to leave the house. That person gave me a good luck charm for when I absolutely had to go outside. It protects me. Yes, apparently she received something. A gift. She won't tell me what it was. It was from that client, the one who wanted that note made. It was his insurance. Insurance? As long as she lived quietly at home, there was no danger to her. But what if she had to go outside? If she ran into any trouble, she'd become nervous. And the nail polish would do the rest. His time bombs sat there for 7 years, and then they went off almost simultaneously. If you're finished, may I return to my cell now? I'm not accustomed to standing for such long periods of time. Mr. Gavin, have you heard a single thing we've said? Oh, I listened quite closely to your little tale. Quite an entertaining piece of fiction. What? Clavier, surely you understand. We're back to the evidence, the lacking evidence. Nothing proves the link between him and the atroquinine that took Drew Misham's life. What about the restaurant? You killed Zach Gramery to keep him from talking. I killed no man of that name. Read over the report again if you like. The victim was a traveler by the name of Shady Smith, about whom we know little else. You can't seriously think I knew he was that particular fugitive. Okay, then why did you kill him? I plead my right to remain silent. Remember, this court did not convene to put me on trial. The defendant's name is Vera Misham, suspected in the murder of her father. My trial has been finished for 6 months now. I'm afraid you have strayed considerably far from our purpose here. This court concurs with the witness. It is defendant Vera Misham who is on trial here. No, but you were doing so good, Apollo! As long as there's no evidence to support the accusation against him, this course of inquiry cannot find Vera Misham innocent. Your Honor, Phoenix Wright spent 7 years collecting this evidence. You still don't get it, do you? Let us assume there was poison in the nail polish. Who, then, was responsible for causing Vera Misham to bite her nails? What? It wasn't me, I know that much. The one who brought that poison to her lips was you! What? Evidence is everything. There's nothing more. I believe this discussion has reached its conclusion. Your Honor, Mr. Justice, you have performed admirably well for a novice attorney. I respect your partner, Phoenix Wright's determination as well. However, without direct proof, you have nothing. Isn't that right, Clavier? Unfortunately, yes, Kristoff, you're right. That is, you would have been right until now! What? Did the news not reach your desk in solitary? The eyes of the nation are on this courtroom today. This is the trial case for a new judicial system. That's right. I'd totally forgotten. The jurist system. Jurist, you say? The current judicial system has been deemed too closed off from society. This new system attempts to inject the wisdom of common citizens into the law. Common citizens? Wisdom? Is this some kind of joke? What could we possibly gain by doing this? Entrusting our judicial system to a mindless, emotional mob of irrational mouth breathers? Common citizens have something called common sense. Common sense is not restricted by the law. Nonsense! There's only room for two in this court. Me and the law. Keep the riffraff out. Out, I say! They're not in the court, actually. They're watching everything by video camera. How can you allow this? Incidentally, the one responsible for making this happen was Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright? Here's his meltdown. So everything was leading to this. Of course. Right. Right. Right! Right! Yay! I won't accept. I can't accept. This is no court. Law. The law is everything. Law is absolute. You'd let ignorant swine soil your courts? Kristoff, it's over. Clavier. The law is absolute? You can't be serious. What? Odd. I thought you spent your life looking for loopholes. The law isn't absolute. It's filled with contradictions. The law is the end product of many years of history, the fruit of human knowledge. Like a gem polished to a gleam through trials and errors. It is the fruit we receive and pass on and face in our time. And it is always changing, growing. Nurturing it is our task as human beings. Except for you, Kristoff. You aren't changing. You've stopped. You're not needed anymore. I couldn't think of anything to say. Maybe because I still haven't seen enough. But someday I'll know what law is. And I'll fight to change it if I have to. Slap it. I see no need to further prolong this trial. This began as the trial of Vera Misham, accused of murdering her father, the painter Drew Misham. However, several other incidents were reviewed and we seem to have reached a conclusion. Before this court declares a verdict, I await your decision. Jurists of the courts. For the death of Drew Misham, how do you find the defendant Vera Misham? Innocent or guilty? I turn to you now to consider this matter. October 9th, 12:48 p.m., Jurists' Chambers. This ends the trial for this case. Only the verdict remains to be decided. Defendant Vera Misham is currently in intensive care. If a decision cannot be reached today, it may never be reached. The factors involved are simple. Did the defendant poison her father that night? If so, she is guilty. Or was there another reason for Misham's death? Mr. Misham's death. Did another person poison him? If so, she is innocent. A panel has been provided for each of you to input your decisions. That is all. Please, wait! Yes, jurist number 6? There's something in the jurist's handbook here. Persons involved with the case may not be jurists. That is correct. I've looked into all your dossiers. None of you were involved with the development of the case. With the development of the case? I see. Does it answer your concern? It's time for your verdicts. Make a decision in the case against Vera Misham. After 7 years, the truth is ready to be heard. Hey, Regentine, how are you doing? Techno right. Judge wisely, judge well. Alright, we have a decision. We get to choose. And there are 2 different endings to this, so let's go ahead and save. I don't know which one I want to do first. What do you guys think? Guilty or not guilty? I'll let you guys decide. Whoever's still awake in the chat. We're gonna do both. I just want to see what you guys want to see first. The never-ending story ending. Hung jury? What? Y'all aren't choosing, you're just saying random stuff. This is why I never give you guys choices. Y'all don't ever make a choice. Just keep going on? That's not a choice! I have to make a choice. Guilty or not guilty? Alright, guilty. God damn you guys. Jesus. Was it that hard? Sorry. You guys make me angry sometimes. And so a verdict was reached on October 9th, 2:14 p.m. The first verdict under the juror system. A hung jury. The final verdict would have to wait for the following day. But fate had different plans. That night, defendant Vera Mission's condition worsened. She died in her hospital bed. Her verdict was postponed for eternity. It was the most difficult decision of your entire life. Alright. Let's do the... not guilty. Innocent, I guess. Was it this one? Yes. You chose very poorly. And so a verdict was reached on October 9th, 2:14 p.m. The first verdict under the juror system. Innocent by unanimous decision. The record will show that when the verdict was announced, special witness Christoph Gavin laughed. A laugh louder than any I've heard before or since. A laugh that echoed in the halls of justice, lingering for what seemed like hours. October 10th, 8:30 a.m., the morning after the trial. In an intensive care ward, a true miracle occurred. Vera Misham opened her eyes. October 10th, 10:12 a.m. Oh, Hickfield Clinic. Vera, I'm so glad! Don't cry, Apollo. I'm happy too, and proud. You did well, Apollo. When I thought about... what if, Vera, Hey now, don't you start crying too. Sorry you had to see us like this. Aww. Vera? Thank you so much, Apollo. Thank you! No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have pressed you like that. If I hadn't, you never would have bitten your nails. What's with the deal with the bracelet on her wrist? Oh, you were supposed to see her as being Lammy from the other case. And it turns out Lammy has the same bracelet as Apollo, which turns out Lammy is, in fact, the mother of Apollo and Trucy. And Trucy and Apollo are brother and sister. No, I was wrong. Staying locked inside like that, clinging to my good luck charm. Vera, when I opened my eyes and saw you, I finally understood. It's important to be a part of the world, to see things with your own eyes. It looks like that poison had some effect after all. It killed off whatever was holding Vera back from life. I knew you'd pull through, Vera. I mean, that's what Apollo was fighting for the whole time. Your future! I won't forget it. Here, let me thank you. You miss Lammy? I think we'll see her. No, really, it's okay. Aww. Oh, look, it's me! I love it. Thanks. Is that me? She really captured your essence, Apollo. Well, I think so at least. That reminds me. Do you know where the other lawyer is? The other lawyer? Oh, you mean Daddy. Except he's not a lawyer anymore. It's my fault, isn't it? I'm sorry. Oh, no, that's not what I meant. No, it's okay. I'm through looking away from the things I've done. I hope I can look him in the eyes again someday and apologize. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that. He brought all those things for me when he came to visit earlier. You mean that stack of videos? And a bottle of grape juice? Why do you have grape juice? Oh, quote-unquote grape juice. Mr. Wright finished watching them all? You know, I knew my real daddy was alive. Huh? I was there 7 years ago, remember? I was the one who helped him vanish from the courtroom. You did what? How? I'm not telling. He promised me that day he went away. We may not meet again for some time, Trucy, but know this, I will be watching, and one day I shall return. Never had sparkling apple cider before? It's grape juice, though. Is there sparkling grape juice? I mean, they specifically call it grape juice. It's not apple cider. You're the next Grammary after all. Oh, Trucy. In the end, he couldn't keep that promise, could he? Oh, there is sparkling grape juice? I don't know. That might be what it is. I don't know. It just says grape juice. It's okay. Phoenix is my daddy now. Even if he can't really play the piano. That he can't. Oh, and I've got you too. Even if your voice is kind of loud sometimes. Glad I made your list. Hey, come to think of it. Where is Daddy? The one who can't play. Do you know Apollo? I think he said he had to meet someone. I wonder. Maybe it's a new mommy. Tee-hee. Oh, Trucy. Yes, Vera? I was wondering, could you show him to me once more? Sir Hat, was it? Oh, he's not been knighted yet. Here goes. Do us an impersonation, Mr. Hat. Objection! Not loud enough, and I like his magic underwear better, or Miss Magic underwear better anyway. That's magic panties, Apollo! So, your memory is returned. Mr. Wright, was this a part of your plan too? I don't know what you're talking about. When I lost my memory, I was reborn as Lammy. But you knew my true identity, did you not? I guess the person speaking right now is Lammy. We are Lammer. Lammer. That is why you chose me as one of your jurists. Ah, you're thinking into it too much. Besides, there was no guarantee that regaining your memory would make you happy. Of course, it is a happy thing. For so long, I thought I was alone. But now I know I have children. 2 dear children. I'm so proud of them. This, too, I think, is thanks to you. Are you going to tell them? They do not know? Nope. They don't know their mother. They don't even know their siblings. I will go to them when the time is right. Until then, Don't worry, I'll take care of them for you. They're very important to me too. A little annoying at times, but still. I have to keep an eye on her at least. Because I'm the only one who knows how she really feels on the inside. Your bracelet. Yes? I've seen a lot of mysterious things these past 7 years. But your bracelets were the strangest of all. I remember meeting him half a year ago in Christoph Gavin's office. And then I met you. Two fates destined to intertwine, and I was there when they crossed. I'll never forget that. Such a small thing, that bullet, yet it tore who I was away. Years ago, during a simple rehearsal. It was a miracle no one died, but I didn't survive that accident. That's why I left the troupe, my family. Now my memory has returned. I am myself once more. For the first time, I am glad to be alive, Mr. Wright. Speaking of miracles, Vera Mission regained consciousness this morning. I can only hope she's as glad as you are. It is a strange thing, fate. Sometimes a life is taken, sometimes a life is spared. You know what I've been thinking? People don't die that easily, really. As long as they've got something that really worth living, as long as they've got something worth living for. And that's pretty much the end of my story. For now, anyway. I've still got a long way to go, and this power of mine, well, it needs work. But there's hope now. We'd lost it, but somehow we found it again. That's why people are smiling again. Hope. Yeah, I think I'll keep at this lawyer thing for a while. Oops, training time, gotta go. Cords of steel, here comes justice!
Objection!
Yay, we finished it. I'm glad you're staying with the agency, Apollo. It's like I found my long-lost big little brother. Oh, and don't you worry about Troop Gramarye. Trucy's on the case. Now that I have this, thanks to Daddy. Trucy Gramarye? Frankly, I got my doubts, but Hat Gramarye, now that'll pack him in. Yay, and my husband's coming home, so I guess once we're done with the credits, this will be it. It's not every day you get a trial that rocks harder than one of our gigs, yeah? That's why it's over. The Gaviners are breaking up. The news caused a run on tissues at supermarkets nationwide. You're the real stars now. I look forward to our next jam session. Well, it's finally over. You know, thinking about it, I've been a piano player longer than I was a lawyer. Now that everything's sorted and I've got time on my hands, maybe I'll take some lessons. Or maybe I'll take the bar exam. Again. I'm the star! Yay! So, I was sitting around eating snackoos the other day when I got this crazy idea. What if they were golden? You could augment the crunch, or better yet, make them ding. Ah, the power of science. Although preservatives might not be 100% safe. I don't guess so. In unlikely event you are wanting Russian feast, come to Borscht Bowl Club. The only thing colder than restaurant is borscht. Duh, but if greater challenge is being required, I will take my clothes off. Nah. Then come to the hideout. You know who to ask for. so, Kitaki Pastries is getting back to its eastern roots. Spread the culture. Yo, boss, culture time! This is how we write root, capiche? But we're still about giving back to the people. Yo, boss, PR time! And this is how we write people, alright? Not that Waki's paying any attention. Whoo, kids. Bizoy! Chinese characters on cake was a fly idea like 3,000 years ago, believe that? Man, you wanna make it today, you gotta keep it real, you know what I'm saying? Yo, that's what I made, the OG cracker, for real! I know it don't look like no cracker, G. What you want me to call it? The OG muffin? What? Did anything he said make any sense? I don't know where all this talk about food is coming from. You ask me, there's only one food, and that's noodles. Noodles forever! I got a new one too. See, this time, I just put a big chunk of salt in the bowl. Why pretend? Eldun's noodles is about the salt. Salt forever! Yeah, okay. Where is my phone? I don't know where my phone is. Ugh, I hate this guy. My exceptionally inquisitive nature has won me unequivocal. See, they used to call me Wesley Stinkler. Oh. But no longer. I have a new name, one that reflects my true academic nature. Wesley Sicko reporting. Yes, curiosity is a sickness, and I am the cure. What? The panty thief. Panty snatcher. The magic panty thief. I don't know how to thank you for all you've done. Light has returned to my life, and with it joy. I may have lost years, but I have gained a treasure. 2 treasures, in fact. I will think of them when I write my next song. Lammy! Brusher, brusher, brushel. Brusher, brusher, brushel. Brushel here, back on the beat with another interview. Huh? How do I feel about things turned out? About how things turned out. No scoop yet, but journalist confidence in mint condition. Inqual! I've decided to keep painting. Originals only, of course. I suppose I'll have to see a bit of the world outside to find what to paint. But I know there are good people out there now. I've met them. Aw, the door is open. The world is waiting. Thank you. Is that Mr. Hat? What happened to Valant? Aw.